What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a great day so far. We're up bright and early here. It's about 4:30 in the morning. Going to cover this devious path event here for you guys, making sure that you guys are going to be running this as efficiently as possible. If you guys are interested in getting the Varkos champion, or Varkos is 5-star soul, or his avatar, or even just the relic materials in here, we got you guys covered in this channel. Now let's take a quick at this devious path right now. It looks like it's going to be a left and right side. They're pretty much mirrored together. In terms of how to get points for this event, it's going to be a shard event. So you can kind of see here, you can pull shards. The point totals for the shards are pretty standard. And then we're going to be getting points from getting artifacts and accessories from the dungeons. Now there is 2 progressive events that will be happening during this 4-day devious path event. I'm going to put the progressives on screen right now, just so you guys have a one-stop shop for all the info, so you guys can take a screenshot or just take a quick look at that progressive event. But basically what's going to happen is that you want to be pulling the highest value shards here instead of trying to gamble with low value shards like ancient shards and mystery shards. The sacred shards are worth the most points, and this is probably where you're going to be pulling your sacred shards to get maximum value out of them. Keep in mind that this is a shard related event. So you can't get points from pulling fusions, fragments, remnants, or anything like that. So keep that all in mind. It's purely based on the quality of your shard. For myself personally, I'll be pulling on day or progressive number 2 to go for Pelagus from the brand new Argonite faction. No real reason to go for this champion. I don't think it's particularly good, but he's okay against wave content. And obviously for Argonites, brand new faction and all that, I don't really have too much Argonites. So I'll be happy to pick up another Argonite if I do get one. I do cover the progressive champions in my earlier video from yesterday, so make sure you guys check it out if you guys want my opinion on some of the champions. Now, let's take a closer look into this devious path here. Sorry about that. So we do start off with 1 key, so keep that in mind. But we see the keys, the secondary keys here are pretty deep. So we see the 2 key down here in the middle and the key way down here in the middle, beyond the soul and beyond the champion. Now for this hero's path, we will be using RSLX. It's a really helpful website that has a bunch of tools on it, and I'll show you guys exactly how I will be using it. It's very, very easy and straightforward to use. So hopefully you guys can use it and make life a little bit easier for you guys. So all right, guys, so we are using this website here. It's called rsl-x.gg. So make sure you guys check it out. Like I said, lots of cool tools here on the sidebar on the left-hand side, showing you past fusions, past heroes path, past events, as well as some additional tools that you guys can use. In this case, we have the devious path already set up here. For the most part, it is quite accurate. As you can clearly see, it already has the 1 key input here, as well as having the values for the rewards already in the path. So let's break it down here. So we got 1 key to work with. Let's go down the right hand side. We're going to go all the way down, assuming we go for the 5-star soul. If we go for the 5-star soul, let's say by itself here, we scroll up a bit, it's going to cost us 86,800 points, which is the equivalent of 19 sacred shards. You see the expected shard cost right here in this section. Also breaks down primals, voids, and ancients. This is quite expensive. As you can clearly see, just for the 5-star soul, it's going to be 19. Quite expensive, right? If we do it like that. So if you want to just go for the champion, for example, you're going to hug the left-hand side. It's straight down, no real obstacles or anything like that. We do come with 1 key. And this is going to cost us a total of 89,300, which gives us a total of just under 20 sacred shards just for the champion. So the champion and the soul pretty much cost about the same. The champion just a little smidge more expensive, which is honestly a little bit surprising. Usually you get a little bit of a discount from the soul versus the champion. So this time it's definitely on the expensive side. 19 sacred shards for the soul. I mean, even 19 sacred shards for the champion is actually quite expensive, relatively speaking. Now, if you can only choose one, champion or the soul, of course you go for the champion. You can always build the soul up over time. So if you ever had a doubt about which one to go for or which is more important, you definitely go for the champion first. And the soul is a huge luxury. And you only really need to go for the soul if you are planning to use Varkos in a more serious kind of capacity. You can definitely live with a 4-star soul, for example, would be totally fine for a damage dealer. You can build that up over time with the lesser essences instead of using the big essences. The 5-star for him, not super necessary. Obviously, it's going to give you noticeable impact from like lightning cage and stuff because it's a it's a high tier blessing. But a 4-star for damage dealer is totally fine. Now, what if we want both the champion and the 5-star? So you have to go all the way down to get the key here, and then you have to go back to the top and then hug the right hand side like that. So now we're going to go, far left, far right. Total cost for this is going to be 178,100 points. The total is going to be right up here in the top right. And that's going to give us a grand total of 39.58 sacred shards for the whole shebang. Again, very, very expensive. If you're unsure of how many points you actually have in your actual stash, you can put in your your shard inventory here and then just type in, and it'll show you how many points you actually have. Let's say you have 10, let's say you have 50, let's say you 100. So I just put in some hypothetical values here. I have 30,500 from these totals. So yeah, it just gives you a rough idea of how much you have in terms of total points and if you can actually clear what you're planning to attempt. This is really important, right? This is the planning stage, what you have versus what you need, right? So let's say you wanted both shard and champion, or soul and champion, like based on the stash, the shard stash that you have, then you either do or you don't, right? So you don't want to attempt an event like this and then just come up short at the end and say, oh well, I didn't make it, right? Because that's just poor planning on your part. So hopefully a tool like this definitely helps you guys out with just the planning aspect of it, so you guys don't waste resources. If you guys are going for a big reward like this, you guys want to make sure that you get it in the end. And again, that all comes down to just planning. Now, what about the energy component of it? So can you alleviate some of the costs with energy? Absolutely. It's a 4-day event. So you do have 4 days to grind out some of the dungeons for some additional points to help you out. So like I said, guys, if you guys wanted both the shard, both the soul and the champion, it's going to cost you 178,100 points. What you want to do is go to the top left hand side. Is going to be a tool here. It's going to be you go to the tool section and then you click it, and it's going to be called the efficiency lab. So click efficiency lab. It's going to bring you here. So the efficiency lab, what you want to do is you bring up hero's path, and then you just leave the zones open. And it's going to give you all of the data here for the hero's path in terms of the most efficient areas to farm, right? And it gives you exactly the breakdown here. So for here, the hero's path, the most efficient area to farm will be the event dungeon level 3. It's going to give you 2.5 points per energy. The reason why level 3 in the event dungeon only gives you such high points is because it does not drop you any brews, okay? So you see here event dungeon level 3, and then you see event dungeon level 7 comes in pretty close second, and then you got event dungeon level 2, 6, 5, 4, 1, and then it goes to 11, and then event dungeon level 10. After that, you have Fire Knight, Ice Golem, Dragon, normal 3. So that's going to give you about 2 points per energy. And then you got event dungeon 9, 8, and then you got normal 10 for Fire Knight, Ice Golem, and Dragon, just under 2. And then you have normal spider 10, event dungeon, I think that says 16. And then you have regular dungeon 20. Regular dungeon 20, 1.954 points per energy. So just hovering around the 2 mark. Honestly, honestly, any kind of dungeon level 20 is very, very efficient. And dungeon level 20 is actually very good just for tournaments, not just Heroes Paths, not just Gear Hunter events. So if you want to double dip in getting good points for tournaments and Heroes Path, you want to do level 20. And for example, you can change that here. For example, you can change the tournaments, and then it'll tell you exactly which is the most efficient. You see here, normal level 20. It gives you 1.11 points per energy. But you see all the level 20s for the dungeons will be the most efficient for tournaments. So don't be upset if you guys are doing dungeon level 3 for the hero's path because it's the most efficient, but you're not getting a lot of points for the tournaments, for example, right? Like, so for example, right now we have the event dungeon Rhea's tournament that's active. So you guys might be thinking, oh, I'll farm, dungeon event dungeon level 3 just to get a nice double dip. But you're only going to get a good amount of points for the hero's path. Like you can see here, 2.5 points per energy. But you won't be getting a very good point conversion for the tournament. You see that event dungeon level 3 doesn't even show up in the top 20 in terms of overall point efficiency for tournaments. Okay, so just wanted to make that 100% clear, guys. If you guys are grinding the event dungeon tournament as well as the hero's path, you're not going to get maximum efficiency by doing dungeon level 3, but you're getting a pretty good split here. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's punch in what we needed. We needed 78,100 points for both the soul and the champion. In terms of total energy cost, you can see the breakdown right here. It's going to cost 70,000 energy for the soul and the champion. If you're doing event dungeon level 3, if you're doing stage 20, for example, it's going to cost you about 91,000 points. Or, sorry, 91,000 energy. Obviously, that's a significant amount of energy, and it's nice that they do a little breakdown here for the gems. Total gem spend is going to be 28,000 gems if you want to do this entire event with energy. So it's not really a viable solution to do this entire Heroes Path event with just gems. You really need to be pulling shards to handle this, the bulk of the points anyways. So if you want to break it down further, it's about 2,500 energy on hard 10 per sacred shard. So if you want to save one sacred shard, it's going to cost you about 2,500 energy with hard 10 farming. If you're doing event dungeon 3, it's probably going to cost you closer to 2,000 per sacred shard saved. So just give you a rough idea of what you guys need. There's 4 days of farming. You guys could probably save, a handful of sacred shards if you guys go pretty hard, but not so hard that you guys deplete all your resources. So total cost for this guy is actually quite a lot. Is he worth it? You know what? It's getting kind of crazy. Like we're talking almost 40 sacred shards for this guy plus his soul. I think it's definitely a new high watermark for Plarium's ask for a guaranteed champion. Yes, he's good. Yes, he will probably make an impact on most people's accounts. Personally speaking, I will be going for him because I find him extremely good. He's going to be a huge upgrade for Faction Wars hard. I love his block revive on his passive. It happens very frequently, the 25% join in attack, especially with Dark Elves. So for Faction Wars, he's perfect. Make sure you guys check out the showcase for him if you guys haven't seen it already. I was absolutely blown away and very impressed with his overall output. If you guys are working through Hydra, for example, he's going to be a huge damage dealer in Hydra. Again, very thanks to this passive. Whenever he joins in and attacks, he uses his A2, and it's going to be a triple hit. He also self-buffs with the increased defense, counterattack, and shatter. So he gets a little bit of ignore defense, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown, so he's going to have full uptime on this. Keep in mind that putting buffs on himself will make him a target for the Hydra Mischief Head. So just in case, he might get his stuff stolen, which is going to be pretty annoying. And I think this guy's going to show up in some siege teams for sure. So it really depends on how much you value some of these areas. He's a single target damage dealer, but he actually deals more damage than some of the area damage dealers. Like, for example, I had him compared against Thor, and I was really surprised. His overall damage output was on par and slightly better than Thor for Hydra areas, and Thor is just an AoE damage dealer. So don't underestimate that he is a single target damage dealer. He does a lot of damage. It's mainly from his ally attack here, right? Like I said earlier, if you want to use him in any kind of serious capacity, PvP focused areas like Siege or Live Arena or something, you really want his 5-star soul so you can get the Lightning Cage on him. Lightning Cage is going to protect all these buffs to protect them from getting stolen or removed. You also want to probably build him out in Stone Skin. Mercurial kind of works as well because he does get the extra turn mechanic, so you can cycle through his total guard stacks. But you probably at least want to have him in like Stone Skin. because he doesn't have any way to kind of survive. So having the 5-star lightning cage will protect Stone Skin from getting stripped off, which is going to be really, really nice. Otherwise, just getting the champion is totally fine. It's really going to come down to what kind of damage dealers you guys have for Dark Elves. I found him to be very, very effective as a damage dealer because of his block revive. He's going to slowly chip away at the waves, and he's going to remove some of those really trouble spots for you. So for example, I was using my Aphidus as my damage dealer. Aphidus comes in here with a bunch of AoEs. He's good damage and all that, but he does struggle sometimes against some of the waves. So having the block revive come in from Varkos is actually really, really nice to handle some of those tougher champions in some of those faction wars waves. So I will be replacing my Aphidus as a damage dealer for Varkos, just to give you guys an idea of where I will be using him. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video here for Varkos's Devious Path event. Like I said, it's going to be close to 40 Sacred Shards if you want both the champion and his soul. There is going to be additional goodies here, like his avatar in this middle section for the relics. For completeness sake, let's do the relic part of this. Usually I don't recommend going for relics unless you're like a hyper whale, in which case running efficiency doesn't really matter to you, I guess. But let's use our one key here. We're going to go either left or right. It doesn't really matter. Let's go for the left. And then I guess it kind of matters because we do have the 6-star Chaos Ore here, or the 6-star, not 6-star, or we have the Immortal Soulstone on the right-hand side. Let's go for the left-hand side, get the Chaos Ore, go down, get the 50. So if you guys want to just go for 50 of the relic material, it's going to cost you about 26,500. And that's going to be here in the top right hand corner here. And if you want to go for the full 100, you do have to grab this extra key down here, open up the right hand side, and then go down the right hand side to pick up the other 50 mythical fragments. And the total cost for this is going to cost you 50,550 total points. Again, top right corner. It's about 11 sacred shards in terms of total cost right here in the middle, 11. And you know what? In terms of total cost for 100 mythical relic materials, this is actually really cheap. All right, guys, I'm going to tell you guys right now, 11 sacred shards for 100 mythical relics is super cheap. Because if you guys recall, in normal summon rushes, they usually put the 100 mythical fragments at the very last reward threshold, which is 20 sacred shards worth. In this case, it's going to cost you 11 sacred shards. Now, I think Plarium does this intentionally for a reason, because they know that the mythical relic materials is it's like kind of like the last reward in this path that people are worried about. So they put it at an incredibly enticing price so that you will go for everything. So if you go for everything, Plarium's going to definitely zap you of your shards. Now, let's say we go for everything. I'm actually curious what this would actually cost. So we have to get the extra key here, I think. All right, just lay it all out. So the total cost for everything. So you want the soul, the champion, and all the mythical relic material is going to cost you 231,600 points, or the equivalent of 51.5 sacred shards. So yeah, if you want the whole shebang, that's how much it's going to cost you. Like I said, the mythical fragments or mythical relics are actually a pretty good deal, relatively speaking. But the cost of the champion and the soul are a little bit on the more expensive side. So hopefully this video broke it all down for you guys. It gives you guys the most efficient path at trying to finish off this event. It's obviously a very big event, one of the most sought after events from this Web of Corruption campaign. Keep in mind that probably in about 2.5 weeks time, there's probably going to be something else coming on the horizon. My guess is that it's probably going to be a collab. This is about the time when the Ninja Turtles showed up last year. So we should be expecting something kind of juicy showing up. Also, based on what the CEO said at the annual general shareholders meeting report, they did say that the second half of the year, they will be ramping up events in terms of frequency and probably the overall coolness of it or whatever. But they're going to be ramping up their events for the back half of the year. So if you guys missed out on Varkos, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. He's a good champ. but there should be more events coming in the near future. With that all being said, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about all this, what you guys are planning to do. Let me know if this video was helpful for you guys in terms of the overall planning part of it. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you guys share with your friends if they need help. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.